Okay, so MHA 403, let's talk about it. This chapter has one of the most anticipated things ever in My Hero Academia happen. And I mean, let's get out of the way. Spoiler alert, obviously. If we're talking about a chapter, I mean, it's got to be a spoiler, right? But so as many of you know, Katsuki Bakugo has been dead for over a year in the manga. Which is kind of crazy that like your consistently number one favorite character in your popularity polls has been dead for that long, which is kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like it's even been that long. But many fans have been waiting. Many fans, I'm talking about me specifically, Horikoshi. It was me. But no, we've been waiting because Bakugo has been being worked on by Edshot. Edshot said, I will become his heart, essentially. So Edshot has been doing like surgery on Bakugo for a year. I mean, I know it's not a year in like actual manga time, but it's been a year for us, okay? It's been like, at the end of Avengers Infinity War, and Infinity War, we had to wait a year for Endgame after the whole Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. We had to wait a year for that. Kids in 20 years from now will not understand the struggle of waiting a year to see a movie when your favorite characters have just died. Anyway, so we've waited a year, and we've anticipated Bakugo will come back, but obviously you never know. Was this going to be like permanent? Joked around with a lot of people. It's permanent. No, I was secretly hoping and crying inside that it's not permanent. Well, the latest chapter was really amazing. So as we know, All For One has been fighting with All Might in like a mech form, like in Iron Man, essentially. He's had like a suit that he's been working with, which has been really cool. All Might has stood up to All For One, which has been impressive considering he doesn't have a quirk. But the problem arises at a certain point, like All For One's aging backwards, getting stronger as he goes, and All Might's kind of run out of equipment. I mean, he's used all of Class 1A's moves, the tech version of that, and we're at a point now where All Might he's kind of at the end of his rope here. So what happens in this chapter is All For One picks up All Might, and it looks like he was about to like rip him in half. Like, you know how Thanos ripped in half Iron Man in one comic? Yeah, I look like he was about to do that. Deku's like freaking out. It looks like all hope is lost. Like, what can you do at this point? And at that moment, we see falling down on UA. Like, UA's falling from the sky, obviously. That's where Bakugo is. And we see a little bitty figure on there. It's just showing, you would think maybe this is just, UA falling, but there's a little figure there. It draws emphasis and light to that. And there he is. Bakugo is back. He's standing. I wish I could show it, but they're essentially like leaks right now, so you can't show that without, getting in trouble on YouTube. And I don't want to do that. But I mean, you could definitely look it up. But Bakugo is standing there and he's holding the All Might card. You know where he died and he had the All Might card right beside him? Well, he's holding that. And I'm like, wow. So it's laying right beside his head. It's like, All Might, will I ever be as good as you? Will I ever live up? Will I keep up with Deku? That was his last thoughts. The last thought he had was about Deku. The first thing he sees when he wakes up is Deku. He looks at Deku. Deku sees Bakugo. They make it seem like they're making eye contact, but they're so far away. I don't know how they see that anyway, but in anime and manga, sometimes like there'll be something happening, like when Goku and Cell are fighting, and it's like, teal, teal, teal. Yeah, I mean, nobody can see that, but they make you believe you can see it. And maybe they can. They just all have super incredible vision. Everyone has that quirk. So maybe 100% of the people in My Hero Academia have a quirk. It's just everybody has supervision, But Deku sees Bakugo and he is crying, and Bakugo is standing up holding that card, that All Might card, and All Might is at the end of his rope, and it's just so symbolic that he stands up, and him and Deku are going to come back and be able to hopefully save All Might, because it's not looking too great for him right now. And what's interesting about it is Bakugo kind of looks confused, like kind of in a daze. Obviously, you've been dead for a year or however long it's been in the manga, and you stand up and you're just like, kind of what's going on? But then he sees Deku and he gets that spark in his eye. And it just says the beginning. Like, it's on now. We're getting that final battle. We got Deku, Bakugo. All Might's still there. Maybe he has some tech left. Maybe we get Deku, Bakugo, and All Might all fighting together against Shigaraki and All For One. But at least we have Deku and Bakugo about to come together, work together to stop this grave threat and hopefully save All Might. Hopefully, All Might's not going to be a martyr that, Deku and Bakugo has to avenge All Might. Hopefully, All Might can make it through it to see Deku and Bakugo work together. But this chapter has been what so many people have been waiting for so long. And like I said earlier, by so many people, I mean me specifically. I've been waiting for this. Hopefully this doesn't spell the end for All Might. Hopefully they can save him, like I was saying, but you never know. I think if I had a bet, I would say we probably lose All Might. I'd hope not, because that would be so sad. Could you imagine? Bakugo comes back to life, And then All Might die, which I think they've kind of been hinting at. So we kind of saw Bakugo looking at the vestige form of All Might, and we've kind of seen that, like, so what if Bakugo passes back to this world, All Might leaves, they kind of have a passing, like, get him, young Bakugo. Get him, young Bakugo, which would be sad and emotional, but it could happen. But at least at the end of the day, we get Katsuki Bakugo back in action. And Izuku Midoriya is happy crying. I'm happy crying too, honestly. Like, it's amazing. This writing has been peak. My Hero Academia is just, it's getting better and better. Like, these chapters, like, a lot of people give it hate, but these chapters are absolute peak. But in the comments, let me know, what do you think is going to happen? Are you excited that Bakugo's back, or do you think they should have left him gone? If you think that, don't even leave a comment. I'm just kidding. You can leave that comment if that's what you truly believe, but I doubt you believe that. But as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subbing to me. If you haven't subbed already, give me a sub. Your person would appreciate that. Thank you for existing. Thank you for being who you are. And I'll see you next week with the new chapter. There's no break next week. So new chapter next week. So maybe we'll get to see Bakugo back in action. And is he going to have the Edge Shot heart? Is he going to have Edge Shot's powers? I don't know.